Welcome to CG Spectrum's illustration block of CG Spectrum's Twitch stream. I'm your host, Eric Wilkerson, and sorry for the delay and some technical issues. I mean, clearly every week I have a technical issue. God. I hope that everyone can hear me and that my audio is not cutting out or anything. I'll turn the music down. Okay. So if anybody's there, you can say hi. I don't bite much, and so today I'm just going to be working on a portrait, like the title of the episode says. Hey, blasphemer! All right, so I'm gonna be working on a little portrait today. And this image is a reference from a old book cover. I have the rights to the image, so just in case anybody's wondering or says to yourself, "That's my cousin." Well, cousin's mom gave me permission to use his image, so bang, I'm doing it. All right, so this week is going to be hybrid alien design. I'm going to take this kid's face and mutate him a bit. Try to come up with something. So I'm trying to decide whether or not, or how far to push the sketch stage of this before just diving into doing some kind of funky thing with his face, or if I should treat it like a true portrait and like take my time measuring and rendering this thing, and then alienify, that's not a word, just like mutate him into an alien after I do the finished line drawing. I know what I would like to do, but I don't know if watching me just draw, Eric. Just stop overthinking it. God. All right. What I'm gonna do? Just gonna draw. So, if anybody has any questions, what kind of alien are you gonna make him? I might give him Yoda ears, and I don't know. Maybe I'll make him a Minbari. If you don't know what a Minbari is, then I don't know what to do for you. Look it up online. All right, so we have, I am to sure I am see my layers, and first things first, save the file. Hope everybody's doing okay today, and if you can hear me okay without any issues, just give me a little thumbs up icon in the chat so I know that I'm not just talking to myself. That would be awesome. Really appreciate it. That seems to keep happening. All right. All right. Type in. So, since I actually have people watching this week, let me ask you guys. Let's make this a more of a collaborative effort. I have a human kid. And if this human kid were to be the offspring of a human alien relationship, I'm not a filmmaker, Drawn Skull. This is the illustration block. I mean, I think you've been here enough times to know that I am not a filmmaker. So I'm going to get back to my original question, which is, if this were an alien human offspring, what parts of the body would you think would be alien, and what parts would stay human? Because that way we can start to chop this kid up from the beginning. So I'll if you can't think of any specific parts, you can just name off an alien from your favorite movie or something like that, and we'll try to like block something out. I think that would be a little bit more fun than me trying to guess at what to do. You can do just one eye being more alien than the other. Okay. Interesting to see the alien parent, I guess. It would, but we're not going to do the alien parent, we're just going to do the alien kid. So we have to extrapolate by looking at this boy what his parent, the alien parent, might actually look like. So like, do we give him like the silver teeth with the drool and the two mouths? Or do we, this is all about adding narrative details to a portrait, because otherwise it's just a portrait of a kid, and that's boring. Portrait of anybody for sci-fi fantasy art, it's about what you do to it, what you add to their costuming, what you add to their appearance that adds that story element. So let's figure something out. You make him green. Okay, you could go Orion slave girl child, like a mash up between Kirk and fish like hands. Well, we're just gonna do the face, but fish like hands and feet and a tail similar to Avatar. Interesting patterns on the cheekbones. Okay, so we'll write this stuff down. So we got cheekbones, patterns, cheekbone patterns. Okay. Scaly. There's scaly sides, scales. Anything else? Well, if you guys come up with anything, you just let me know, and I will. I'll write it down. Remove the hair. Definitely, the hair's got to go. He's got stupid hair. Somebody's watching this going, my cousin doesn't have stupid hair. I'm telling his mom. Sorry, man. Sorry. Gills. Light gills. Remove hair. Maybe his lips open vertically. So if his lips open vertically, we would have to restructure his jaw to open out like the vampires from Blade 2. Long black tongue. We want to keep it, I'm thinking let's keep it PG, but if his mouth, let's duplicate this. Actually, let's see how much of this we can just manipulate on the actual photograph. How about that? So we would have to take his face, and this is what I would do as like a comp stage for a project. And we would have to, let's say, stretch his face. So we're automatically going to distort his proportions. But we need to do that in order to first. Take the And we're just going to see what that looks like before we go ahead and start drawing out something that might just look ridiculous. It's probably not going to fly. Um, let's see. What else I got? Nose could be tweaked. Bit no nostrils. Tongue, last thing I thought of. Change eyelids, almost absent ones. Nobody's said enlarge the eyes or make them like solid black yet. So I'm gonna take his. Let's play around. I'm not feeling the reversed head, lips, eyes. Like one thing that I like to think about when doing stuff like this is different actual animals that exist in nature, like um, goats and frogs and different organisms like that. Because like the eyelids, I mean not the pupils of a goat are not round, they're horizontal, narrow strips. So and there's some really funky things you can do with it. Sharp nose, sharp ears. Play with the ears and say, let's get rid of his hair. We already said that. So give him red eyes or purple eyes. Do a mix to give him weird color eyes. See what that look like. Right eye. So what I think I'm going to do in addition to that, give him some kind of goat eye. I like that. It's like that. What else we got? Maybe some insertions on the sides of his nose. So like in Earth's atmosphere, what do you think he's smelling that he needs to have a multifunctional nose? Like, would that be something that's kind of, it's from his dad or his mom, but it's not something that is not something he needs for survival on, right? So I'm gonna overthink these things as you guys write them out, because I want to have fun with it. And then, all right, same there, saying, or no nostrils. What about no nostrils? What if he doesn't? There's a line from one of the characters, a Kamaloid from Star Trek 6 Undiscovered Country. One of the lines that she said, it said, because it was a shapeshifter. The alien was a shapeshifter, so it shapeshifted into any form, but it shapeshifted into a form of a woman to have something like pleasing for. But then the alien said that what happened? Like there was this fight scene and my boy kicked this alien knees, like the alien that was beating him up, kicked the alien in the knees, and then the alien dropped to the ground in pain, and his knees started glowing blue. And Kamaloid's response was, not everybody keeps their genitals in place. So, which is an interesting conversation to be having while painting that. It's really, but you know, my point is that we could do this character with or without a nose. There could just be a shape here where the nose would be, and we could put like pores, some kind of openings in the face here. Or I like the idea of the gills. Like maybe there is no nose. Maybe it's all gills. That's how the so then Just wipe. Just make some kind of lump here where a nose would be. Maybe they're started out genetically starting to form a nose, but then as he matured, that part of his human DNA recessed and the gills sprouted as a form of puberty or something, right? Ron Skull, are you a student at CG Spectrum yet? Because you have an awful lot of questions for somebody not actually studying. I hope you're actually studying somewhere. And I'd love to sit and answer all of your questions that are like more administrative, but I really don't have time to get into that. I really hope that you have found some place to study, or have at least decided on what you want to focus on at this point. So I feel like we'll just treat this like a photo comp today and not try to sit here and try to digital paint this toward film. Right. I remember that you're in film. Right. Okay. So that's great. That's great. So I'm guessing you know like Premiere and all of those film programs. And my brother's a film major, editor, school for editing. That's great. So then we skills, flip this. What did you guys come up with? Second, here. I actually, instead of trying to Photoshop the eye into place, with pen. So, Drawn Skull, do you have any experience with figure drawing, anatomy, composition, anything like that? Are you like brand new to drawing stuff? Because the school is going to be focusing more on a fundamentals course that would teach people what they really need to know before thinking that they can dive right into being a concept artist or something, or anything in the visual arts, if they don't know how to draw. So, draw or paint, really, or understand Photoshop. So, that would be my first question: is like, what is your background? That would really determine where you would go there. With, I said to play with some spots, gills, scales, cheekbone patterns. This week, some stuff. His skin. Oh, we gotta paint out the. First things first. If you guys have ever, if you guys haven't used the liquify tool before, I highly recommend it. It is so awesome. Just gonna play with this. I learned from books. Okay, you have knowledge of anatomy and figure drawing, but how much actual time have you spent drawing anything? That's it. I'm not like, it's not a criticism, it's asking a question. Because a lot of people have knowledge of something. Like I have knowledge of, physics, but not. It's not something I practice. I have knowledge of chemistry. It's not something I practice. So, how much practice do you have with that stuff? Because a lot of courses, no matter what school you go to, are going to require you to spend a good deal of time practicing drawing from life, from reference, all that stuff. And I know being in the middle of a pandemic, you really go out and go to a life drawing class. And I find the ones where you can go do that highly questionable. It's run by somebody against masks or something. So this is gonna kind of avatar cartoonify the eyes a bit, but see what that looks like. Boing, 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 boing. And on top of that, saying skin. For right now, I'm just gonna modify it. Abaz. Um, 2.5 years. So Drawn Skull, you have 2.5 years. Okay. Um, so you're pretty new to figure drawing. All right. So, um, my advice would be to keep going and keep practicing uh, your figure drawing while you're in other programs, while you're still working on your film BFA, and just draw from life, draw from reference as much as you possibly can, because that is just going to inform. I mean, even for a filmmaker, like if you could do your own storyboards, for something, that's going to be really helpful. Um, but I mean, so K-Boz, would you like me to now begin drawing this out? Because I can. I was just kind of exploring where to take the design in a comp before going into a drawing blind. Like I didn't want to just sit there and try to explore this in line. I wanted to just figure this out in a full color comp. I mean, this is something that people do, and this might not be the most interesting thing, but there's so many different ways to approach this. Could have just sat here doing silhouettes and then built that up to something more refined, but I figured it would be easier just to sit here and just play over top of this face and uh, adapt what I wanted to go for. So So, uh, Drawn Skull, the thing with learning from books is that you're only going to learn so much. At some point, you have to do. A book can tell you everything you want to know, everything you might want to know about proportion and anatomy and all that stuff, but it's not like learning how to change a tire. Like drawing is not something that is like learning how to change a tire. You watch a couple videos and you go, okay, got it. I can go do that now. Or a couple YouTube things and you go, got it. Drawing and painting is something you have to do, and you've got to do it a lot. Not for a little while and then stop. It's something that you have. It's kind of like any filmmaker. They get good at what they do by doing it. And I'm sure you understand this. So, my recommendation to you is I wouldn't recommend any particular books outside of what you might already have. I would just say go draw. Go draw, do a self-portrait, do find reference online, draw friends, family. What I say to people, especially people just starting out, is get a sketchbook. And you know, at some point you're going to have a family member just sitting in front of the television for probably a solid hour or two watching a movie. My Facebook feed is just full of people raving or hating the fact that they spent 4 solid hours watching the Snyder cut of Justice League. I'm like, how did you have 4 hours to kill and then complain about it? I mean, at some point, like halfway through, you had to have realized you hate this, so then turn it off. Don't complain about it after you've finished watching 4 hours of movie. All right, but that's my rage vent. Sorry. So while somebody is doing that, you could have a sketchbook out sitting there drawing them. Because they're not going to move. They're literally not going to move. Or at least not much. So that could be your nightly practice. So that's something to consider. So this is the part where I have to start naming. Otherwise, this is gonna be a mess really quickly. So let's saying he's a kid. So does this kid have, does he have ears? Do we play with it and say that he does not? Or that his ears might be someplace else? Fish have ears? No. Go Conehead with it. That's stupid. I want to do that. Keep that kind of flow going from the shape of the gills, head. Or whatever the equivalent of ears are. Dad's homework? Or his mom's? I don't know. It's kind of a questionable situation there. Where on earth could a family like that live in peace without getting like having being like the victims of a hate crime? This kid's like target just because of his parents' choices in life. Right? Does he have hair? Oh, do we go full Klingon mullet? Don't say yes. Don't even type yes in the chat window, because I don't know if I could resist going full Klingon mullet. All right, so just ignore that I even asked that. Let's see. So, Drawn Skull, when I was in school, if you're still around, if you're still there, when I was in school, and if you go to any art school, any like brick and mortar art school, they would have you drawing more than just 4 hours. I don't know if you're meaning 4 hours a day, 4 hours a week, but when I was in school, I had a life drawing and a life painting class 2 or 3 drawing classes and 2 painting classes a week. Each of them were anywhere from 3 to 6 hours long. So I was spending somewhere around 12 to 15 hours a week drawing or painting from a model for 4 years, on top of homework assignments where I had to draw and gather reference and draw from reference. It's like intensive training, and that is a commitment that I don't know how many people have these days. I don't think they realize the work involved in learning how to do this. And I think that some YouTube videos do people a disservice by going, oh, well, if you take this course, you'll like 5 easy tips and you'll be a rock star. And it just doesn't work like that. I mean, especially with, there's all these different programs to know and to master. I mean, that's not to dissuade anybody. That's just being real. Like, it's like I said, it's not like learning to change a tire or, swap out an engine or something like that. Once you learn how to do it, you know how to do it. But can you draw? It's like the ultimate test is, can you now take what you learned in that drawing class and apply that to drawing from your imagination, to making a character that does not exist, and turn that character around in your head and draw them from multiple angles, because that is what would be required of you. But that takes practice, and that takes I know CG Spectrum has I think it's a minimum of 20 hours a week they ask of you to put in to your work. I mean, I think that's, and that might not be realistic for some people because they have jobs and lives and kids and stuff, but there are some people that are just binge watching Justice League for 4 hours and gotta complain about it on Facebook instead of going to draw something. Zack Snyder's a god. Oh, I hated that movie. Oh, back and forth. I remember that blue dress, yellow dress controversy from like 2015, where depending on how your brain processed information or something, some people saw a blue dress and other people saw a gold dress. That was just ridiculous. It's that all over again with some movies. But anyway, not to get sidetracked. It's just, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. So as a filmmaker, as somebody that's studying film, I'm sure you're studying cinematography, camera angles, lighting, what kind of lens to use for the right kind of effect, for the right kind of shot. You're learning all of that stuff, and that takes hours and hours of practice, in-field practice, years even, to get good at it. Good enough to apply for a job doing. And that's what you want ultimately. You want to be good enough to get a job doing. I don't know what I'm doing right here. I'm just messing around. Kind of giving him that I feel like every alien you see on Star Trek is some kind of human alien hybrid, because they all are just, you know, human actors in prosthetic makeup. And just for budgetary reasons, you can't have freaky looking, giant praying mantis looking aliens walking around per episode, because that would just be cost prohibitive. So what's the cheapest way to go? Prosthetics. So, like, going from Exhibit A to Exhibit B, still messing around with it, trying to play with the silhouette of his face. See what works, doesn't. You know what, Drawn Skull, that probably isn't a bad idea. Like, not even joking. Because, alright, let's talk film. Ridley Scott knows how to draw. Ridley Scott does his own storyboards for films. Alright? He storyboarded Kingdom of Heaven, Aliens, Alien. Pretty sure he did a little bit on every single Gladiator. Sits there and sketches out his own stuff. And sure, was there a active actual storyboard artist on set or on the film? Of course there was. But they had something to go on, because Ridley could draw. I have concept artist friends of mine that have had the opportunity to work with James Cameron. James Cameron's an illustrator. James Cameron could sit there and design what he wanted the Na'vi to look like, and then pass that drawing off to his concept art team and say, do better. That's a really great place to be, because then you absolutely know what you want from the beginning. And at that point, it's a challenge for the concept artist to top what the director of the film just did. Some people might say, well, that'd be easy. But what if he hates it? What if he's like, you know, this isn't anything like what I wanted. Why are you even on my team? And you don't want that to happen. But I think it's a good place to be. It's a good starting point to be if you know how to draw. But you can ultimately decide as a filmmaker to pass that over to somebody who specializes. Like, the director of the film wouldn't say to the storyboard artist, you know, you want to come over here and direct this real quick? I'm gonna go get a bite to eat. No. But it can work the other way around. Does this kid not have an upper lip? I think we're gonna remove his upper lip. Gonna casters with milk. Do we go goldish with it? decisions. We pucker him up. I don't know if we should. I don't hate that. Oh, that's stupid. I don't like. Get rid of it. Expand all of that. So my thought process, you're seeing this live. I'm just exploring right now. You know, some things are going to change, other things will stay the same. But if I had started out trying to just draw a figurative likeness of this kid without knowing how I wanted to alter the alien parts of him, I just would have been wasting my time. Does he have little baby horns on his forehead or not? Does he have a rhino horn? Human horn? Does he have some human horn? I don't know. Little teeth coming out of where his nose would be? So that the challenge is not making him look gruesome or scary, still making it look alien. And that's a little bit more challenging than people think. They think, oh, we'll just like rotate the face or rotate this or change that or flip this. And it's more in the subtleties because we have to make this a hybrid. So there are going to have to be some pieces that stay human-ish. But not too scary, not too R-rated or anything like that. We want this kid to feel like not the Disney version of what a human alien hybrid would be, but what you might see in, I don't know, like a Spielberg film or something. Clearly alien-ish, plausible, but not cute. So I think the next step after this would be to add some kind of slime or something like that. Skin. Make the whole thing feel wet. Coming there. Stop. Script. Okay. At least it lets me. You give him an ear piercing? That'd be customary on his dad's world to have like something dangling from his ear. Be like a ceremonial, kind of like a yarmulke. You just have like these piercings with something draped. Oh yeah, do that. Not. Thing. The Drawn Skull saying the main reason I wanted to learn concept art is because I feared that my art team wouldn't be able to see what I saw in my nightmares and dreams, even the saw. Okay, so but then I thought maybe my art team can make it look better. It doesn't have to look like exact replica of what I saw in my dreams and nightmares. So a lot of that is going to come from you describing your vision to somebody that can translate that into an image. And I mean that's as you know, a filmmaker, as a director, that's your job really, to go into that art department and then be able to say to team, yes, yes, no. Like, I like this is close, or combine these two sketches. This is closer to what I had in mind. But you have to be able to articulate what you want rather than be afraid that they're not going to give you what you want. You have to tell them very specifically. The worst thing you can say to some artists, some concept designers, some illustrators is, make it look cool. I'll know it when I see it. you've told them nothing. Make it look cool could mean you make it look how you want it to look, and I will shoot it down if it's not exactly what I want to see, even though I'm not telling you what I want to see. That is super frustrating. And there are art directors, there are directors, there are people in every phase of production that have failed upwards to a position where they can say something like that to an artist and get paid way more money than the concept artist ever will, to just say, make it look cool. Meh, make it look cool. That's so frustrating. So if somebody were to come to me and say, I want you to design an alien human hybrid kid, but he's got to have some kind of dorsal, aquatic, manta ray looking shaped head, wet skin, scaly wet skin with gills on his face, then I have something to go on. But if somebody just said, design a aquatic looking alien kid, go, I'll know it when I see it. That could be anything. You could go like, how far is it, a 80-20? Is it a 50-50 split? Like, how alien, how human you want it to be. So, but also the other end of what you just said is you want to learn concept art because you're fearing that your art team won't be able to convey what you see in your head. That's like somebody that wants to be a professional chef because he doesn't want to worry about anybody fixing, or because he doesn't want anybody fixing meals for him or her. They want to make their own thing, or they want to be able to cook for the world, but they don't know how to cook. Not as good as a professional chef. Like, you got to know the foundations first. You got to know how to draw, you got to know how to color, you got to know how to use the tools first before you worry about doing the concept art stage of it. All right? If you're trying to do concept art but you don't understand basic anatomy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you see in your head if you can't translate that onto paper or onto your computer screen. So you have to learn those foundation skills first. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. There's no shortcut. And I tell students that all the time. There is no shortcut here where you think you're going to bypass foundation skills or some solid understanding of how to draw and paint and dive right into, you know, drawing orcs and World of Warcraft fan art. A lot of people think that, and then they get frustrated when they fail miserably. Then they start doubting themselves and they get stuck in their head. And there's that whole mental health aspect of it where they go, I thought this would be easier. I thought this would be like changing a tire, and it's not. And then they get mad. There's this whole range of emotions that happens. They go, well, I'm going to do this. And then they realize, oh, I can't until I learn this. Oh, grr. And they shake their fists at the world. Like, why didn't somebody tell me? Well, I'm telling you now. It would take time. It's the point is it would take time to get to where you want to get, to where you can stand in front of a production team and say, here's my sketch, do better than this. You'd have to first understand all these other things. Even if you were to compose, even if you were to do storyboarding, storyboard artist understands camera angles, lighting, composition, a ton of that stuff. But they simplify it down to the most basic strokes because they have to turn out those storyboards fast, right? So they know what shot to use, medium shot, long shot, extreme close-up, whatever. Like, how, if the script doesn't say specifically what the shot should be, the storyboard artist is reading the script and then basing their sketches off of what they think the shot should look like. And I mean, that storyboard artist is kind of like that first director, you know. But most of the time it'll be in the script: extreme close up shot, medium shot, long shot, whatever the establishing shot is, usually the long shot anyway. So your understanding of cinematography, your understanding of lighting and color and composition that you're getting from your film education, you can apply that to a composition class in illustration or design, and apply that to your filmmaking. But again, it takes time. But there's, it's better to go in knowing that than to get frustrated later on. And while you're thinking about that, I am thinking about giving this kid a mullet. And but it's a tentacle mullet. I think I've got enough to go on to now really start to play with this. Alright, so I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock, and now that I've kind of blocked this out where I want to go with it, I mean, it took some time, but it was better to take that time and explore the silhouette of this thing over the photocomp rather than try to work through it in line and value. Everybody works differently. There's no right or wrong way. Some people compose, some people design all of their stuff in 3D and just skip over drawing completely. You see people do that all the time in ZBrush and Blender and you know, Maya, 3ds Max, all that stuff. Um, there are professional concept artists that design everything that they do in actual clay, polymer clay, um, wet clay, monster clay, non-sulfur, what NSP, whatever that stuff is. I think that's like monster clay. Um, or they draw it, their sketchbook. So I'm just working over top of a photo, um, slushing some pixels around until I get something that I like. And you gotta, explore different ways of working. I know in this stream, I'm all over the place. Doing hands one day, close-ups of eyes the next, uh, composition, line drawings, other digital paintings, and then other days I'm just sloppily painting right over top of some line work. So just painting over a photograph on the wrong layer. Good grief. Oh, I should probably press start. All right. So that's my time. Um, just playing around in Photoshop and working out a potential idea for a little hybrid alien creature kid over top of a photo reference. Just making this photo comp. More often than not, this is how I work. Uh, I like to just play with stuff rather than drawing it all out, but it really depends on the time that I have. If I take the time and really practice the drawing stage of it, then I would sit there and build up silhouettes and draw the kid and then paint the kid's face and then alter it, taking photo reference and just playing over top until I find something that I like and then just keep exploring. Um, like I said in the video, there's no one way, there's no pure right way to do it. It's whatever you're most comfortable with. So it does look cute, Blasphemer. Thank you. He's got the rosy cheeks and everything. So uh, that's what I got, and I will talk to you guys next